How's it going, everybody? This Seer here, and I have some exciting news for you guys. So as you guys are aware, if you've been following my Discord or my channel for some time, we had a daughter. She is perfectly fine, as you see right here. So I'm just kind of taking a break for a little bit longer. I want to make sure the newborn mama, everybody's doing good before I could try to get back in the swing of things. So I'm still trying to finish up the everything to know about the Insidious 6 video. However, we had some exciting news, but first I want to kind of do some bragging. So as you can see, the newborn is doing fantastic. Mama's doing well. Brother, he is loving his sister, and we're having a great time. So I'm just going to take a break a little bit longer. Hopefully about another week or two, and then I can try to get a few more videos back out. I don't know about streaming yet, because this is going to kind of overwhelm everybody in the household. So do bear with me with that. With that being said, we had some very exciting news. Valley Flying got an exclusive video for the next chase character, it looks like, which is going to be Blue Marvel. Now, this is going to require that purple 4 and 5. So if you've been playing for a little bit, you're kind of aware where we had Odin, who required the purple 3. It looks like Blue Marvel is going to be requiring the purple 4 and 5. Now, there's some things I do want to discuss on here. Then I want to kind of go over some of the planning. And also, it looks like we got confirmation on a couple of reworks. So let's go ahead and jump over to that quick, because that's really exciting. So over here, the Multiversal Blast, if you end up going on here, we can see Doctor Strange Heartless and Elsa Bloodstone both are kind of getting those red star treatments, meaning it looks like these are going to be the next 2 character reworks for the team. Really cool. Now, if we end up kind of taking a look, because I do want to look at this, my Heartless is currently 95, Elsa is 80. If we kind of take a look at the kit breakdown for these 2 characters, Heartless, he does not have any callouts on here, so I'm curious what you guys are thinking this team is going to end up being. Elsa over here, the both mystic characters on here. Now, the ultimate right here, it does have a war offense callout on there. Otherwise, they're both pretty open, so I'm kind of curious what team this is going to be for. I don't know if it's going to be the next Mystic Raid team quite yet. It could be something where it could be a Battle World team. I saw something about that. It could be a War Offense team due to Elsa's already call-out in there. I'm not quite sure. However, what I can say is the ultimate right here for Doctor Strange Heartless, this thing hits so hard. So when this gets the new stat rework, this ultimate is going to be devastating. And as far as Elsa, her opening move right here, this ultimate offense up for 2 turns, this does massive damage as well. So I can kind of imagine how much damage this is going to be with those new stats. I'm really excited about this, but let's go ahead and jump back over to this blog, and I want to kind of discuss my thoughts about this right here. When we had the Odin, I was able to kind of get the 7 red starts on him. I was able to finish that in time. I was fairly early. I think it was like top 200 or something. I might have to take a look at the videos to see on how I did with that. Same with Xavier. But we're going to see how this planning is going to end up being, because the ISO planning is different than the gear planning. So let's go ahead. The next hero, he's a beacon of power and forged in antimatter. Now he's joining the fight to save Nexus Earth. Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel will not only be a powerful addition to your roster, but he ushers in level 4 and 5 purple ISO 8. Today we're meeting the newest character, discussing how you unlock him and getting the details for the next level of purple ISO. So let's dive in. Who is Blue Marvel? In the height of the Cold War, brilliant scientist Adam Brasher pushed beyond the limits of human knowledge and was transformed by a reactor accident into Blue Marvel, gaining superhuman strength, invulnerability, flight, and power to manipulate antimatter itself. Kind of like another Superman-esque superhero, if you want to go that route. For years, he protected the world as a symbol of hope, only to be forced into obscurity when his identity as a black superhero challenged the prejudices of his era. So that is something I'm excited about. This part right here, a black superhero, they need more representation for this. So I'm really happy that there is this type of superhero out there, because I know that people like to look at those characters and say, hey, I see myself in there, my kids and everything. So I'm actually really happy about this portion on here. After decades in the shadows, Blue Marvel returns stronger and wiser than ever, wielding antimatter energy to defend Earth and beyond from the threats no hero can withstand. Blue Marvel brings power to your roster. Blue Marvel brings overwhelming cosmic strength and versatility to your roster in Marvel Strike Force. He's a true plug-and-play powerhouse. So he's going to be a plug-and-play character, kind of like that Xavier Odin type. So I don't think he's going to have any unique tags. They could give him like an Avengers tag. I don't know if they will, though, just because of how broad that tag is. Whereas when they gave Odin the Asgard tag, there really wasn't too much plug and play where you kind of plug him into Asgard team at this time. Sliding seamless into almost any squad and instantly elevating their effectiveness whenever you need extra damage, durability, or support. So it looks like he might be like a support character on here. Blue Marvel has the tools to turn the tide of battle to your favor. We'll have a deep dive into Blue Marvel's abilities in the upcoming blog, so stay tuned. I was looking to see what other video games Blue Marvel was in to try to get an idea of his power and everything. So let's go ahead and take a look over here. This is the Marvel fandom page. If we kind of take a look at his abilities down here and his tributes, very high intelligence because he worked at that reactor, obviously strength high, durability high, pretty fast, energy projectile, and fighting skills. He has superhuman strength, 9 invulnerability. Blue Marvel has survived the hydrogen bomb blowing up in his hands unfazed. He was capable of withstanding blows from a large collection of superhumans made up of Ms. Marvel, Ares, Iron Man, Wonder Man, and Sentry. So really, really powerful as far as taking those hits. Blue Marvel can also breathe and survive in space. He can also survive in a nuclear explosion without being harmed. He has antimatter manipulation, energy manipulation, so he can do energy constructs, concussive force bolts, energy pulse, energy infusion, telekinesis, matter manipulation, flight, infinite longevity. Blue Marvel is immortal and does not age beyond his prime. Therefore, he won't die unless killed. Enhanced mental perception and hyper cosmic awareness. Now, in other video games, this right here is for Marvel Avengers Alliance. I wanted to see what other video games he was in, get an idea of what they could end up doing with him. He has the antimatter generator, outwit antimatter right here. He has 2 single target hits in the Marvel Avengers Ultimate Alliance game. And as you see here, he did have the Avengers and Mighty Avengers organization tag. This right here, I think, is the interesting part. So here he gives like buffs to all allies for 3 rounds, whereas the antimatter reserve, quick action, he does the remove debuffs, focus, strength, fortify, agility, a huge support buff that you can kind of get to the team. And then over here, it looks like he has a single target, big damage, and a lot of negative effects. So they could definitely do something like this in the game where they dish out so many positive effects, get some negative effects on the enemy side, maybe a battlefield effect. That'd be really cool as well. So I'm kind of curious what you guys think they would end up giving him for his abilities. Now, if we end up taking a look at what you need to be able to get this Blue Marvel character and how to do this planning, we're going to start talking about that right now. So the target for Blue Marvel, Strike has pinpointed Blue Marvel's location within the multiverse and created an urgent mission to extract him and bring him to the Nexus Earth. This mission is called Target Blue Marvel. The mission calls on warriors with specific capabilities, so you need the following traits over 10 mission nodes. It doesn't say anything on here about needing that 3-star like you did for the Saga. So this could be more like a Dark Dimension type thing like they did with Odin. We'll have to see. It's only 10 nodes, which isn't a lot, but it's kind of interesting, right? Because we take a look on here, we have the no restriction section where you need to get that level 4. Once you do that, you can do that first mission node, and then you can go into the Conquerors node. This right here is one of the only issues I have with this. I want to jump in game really quick. If we look at the Conquerors tag on here, this is Chapter 2 Conqueror. This is what we currently need to be able to get Blastar. I think if they wanted to go this route, they could have done like Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3, so you have a more variety of characters on those to really spread it out. If we take a look at this, what you basically have are the Fantastic Four, which this has Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 tag on here. We also have the Insidious 6, we have Vulture and Shocker that have that tag, and we also have the Hellfire Club on here. This is really it for characters to choose from. And if we really want to maximize how we want to tackle this, there's going to be non-mythic, cosmic, city, and global that we need to go through as well. And it's in that order where it's cosmic first. So that could be like your Fantastic Four, your city, then your global. I don't think there's really many characters worth in the Conquerors tag to do that. So my recommendation is I'm going to be looking at the Conquerors to try to get this cosmic portion, or as many as I can through that. Then I'm going to look at the city, then global, and so forth. The last node where it's no trait is pretty interesting as well, but that's going to need the level 5. Now, let's continue with the teams, and then I want to really talk about the ISO itself, my thoughts about that. So let's go ahead and jump back over into game. Now, if we end up taking a look at this right here, I do think Invisible Woman, Franklin, and Mr. Fantastic, those are 3 somewhat safe bets to really do, because if we look at this, we have on here for the tag, we have a Brawler tag for Invisible Woman. For Franklin, we have a Controller tag. And then if we take a look at the Mr. Fantastic right here, that's going to get us a Protector on here. So you really want to try to not go all in on, say, Blaster, Brawlers, stuff like that. You want to try to spread out your ISO, because when you start looking at these things on here where you kind of look at these crystals, this right here is going to be the bottleneck. Usually it's going to be like these crystals, and then it kind of goes into the shard thing. I forgot what they're actually called. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So if we take a look over here and we take a look, yeah, I don't know, but I forgot what they're called, but there's like the ISO class fragments and then the shards to kind of power them up. When we did Odin, this was the initial bottleneck, were these type of crystals, and then later on it shifted over to these ISO things down here, whatever those are. I think they're the ions is what those are called. That's right. So I'm trying to spread out what I want to take on those. So if we take a look at just the Conqueror tag itself, I want to try to take the 3 new Fantastic Four. I want to take Vulture because he's a very cool character. High damage, very cheap, so it's easy to kind of keep the overpowered on my opponent when I end up using them. The arena team, they're very important as well. The other character I'm looking at right now, honestly, is going to be Superior Spider-Man, because of its tag being a support character. Very, very fast also at the 133 speed. I think he's going to be a pretty good, strong character choice. I could see a case for Emma Frost. The issue with Emma Frost to me, though, is I don't need or want to G20 her, meaning I can't really take advantage of the overpowered. Because when you take a look at overpowered on here, you want to try to keep the ranks. So like right here, it says G20. The next one's going to be the purple 5. So if I do purple 5 on her, I'm not getting the benefit because I'm not going to be getting G20 on her either. So you want to look at your gear along with the class itself for the ISO. So recap for the Conqueror tag, the 3 new Fantastic Four, Superior Spider-Man, and Vulture is what I'm really looking at. Now we're going to end up taking a look at the cosmic characters on here. When we look at the cosmic characters, we're already going to have the 3 Fantastic Four. So we need to find 2 more characters that we want to try to slot in, and they have to be non-mythic, meaning we can't use Odin, we can't use Mephisto. What does that leave us? Null right here is not a mythic character. I can see him being a very good candidate, so he is marked down for me with this versus tag, which we'll look at that after. He's going to be a controller character as well, which is a pretty good tag. It's not a Brawler or a Blaster, which is where I kind of went a little bit heavy-ish on those. The other character I'm looking at is going to be Quasar. Quasar is a really good legendary character. He's not a mythic, and he's a Brawler tag. Whoever this next 3rd legendary character is going to end up being, we might slot him in, or her, whoever that character is going to end up being. But for now, I'm going to be banking on Quasar as one of the 5th characters on here. I might end up dropping Null for that character, or if we get Sentry by that time, maybe Sentry will slot in. I just think Null's a very good, powerful character, and he's kind of worthy of kind of getting that purple 5 type of character on there. So that's going to be the cosmic section. And now if we end up going over to city, which is the next trait that we want to look at, this one I had a little bit more of an issue trying to figure out. I don't think I want to do any of these characters right here, which is the Night Stalkers characters on here, just because the Night Stalkers is kind of almost getting pushed out, because they should be the next team that gets replaced. If Heartless and Elsa is going to be that Mystic Ray team, that's definitely going to push them out, and they're not going to have as much value. The Vigilante does have good value for me though, but do you want to do the full team? I don't think so, especially when we already have Vulture plugged in here as that city character. I'm going to end up looking at Silver Sable and Hitmonkey and Daredevil Modern. Silver Sable right here is a blaster character. Hitmonkey is a blaster character as well, so I need to try to lay off the blasters. As you see, Daredevil Modern is a protector, so I think he is going to give good value with that protector tag. They can kind of really lean into. Then we have Vulture, so we need one more character. Punisher, unfortunately, he's a blaster. I don't want to take another blaster up, so I wanted to try to find another character to really slot into there. So what did we end up going with? That's right, we end up going with Superior Spider-Man. He's going to be a city character, and he's a support character, which is fantastic. So we're not going to be able to take full advantage of the kits for like Silver Sable, Hitmonkey, and Daredevil Modern. But if we can plug away at it where you don't need to get the 3 stars on there, and it's just going to be like Dark Dimension nodes, I think that's going to go a long ways for us to where it can really lean into that portion on there. Now we have the global characters on here. This one was interesting. I did want to go with Songbird, because Songbird is amazing. G20, keep that overpowered on her, is going to go a long ways. Then if you really look, Xavier, he has the Mythic tag, so we can't really use him on this. So what's another team that you can really go into that we end up going in for Xavier? Liberty team. I'm going to try to take Peggy Carter, who is going to be a controller character. We're going to end up doing Captain Sam, who's a protector character, so that's going to give us another protector to lean into. Patriot is a brawler character, and then we have Falcon Joaquin right here, who's a support character. So really good team that we can look at. The issue being, if you were kind of doing the math on here, is if we go to the versus tab, and then let's go ahead and take a look at the roles. Protector, we have 3 protectors. Reed, we have Captain Sam, we have Daredevil Modern. That's great. Brawler characters, we have 4 brawlers. We might be able to drop Patriot out and throw another character in there, which could be somebody like New Emma, Jean Grey, something of that sort. But I think this is going to be okay for us at this point. We'll have to see if we need to make a pivot on there. If we look at the controller characters, Franklin, Peggy, and Null, really good, strong characters in that one. Blaster characters, Silver Sable, Songbird, and Hitmonkey. And then support, we only have 2, Falcon Joaquin and Superior Spider-Man. If we end up taking off the verses and really take a look at this, we do have Jean, we do have New Emma. So if I need to, I could drop maybe Patriot, throw Jean, New Emma, one of those 2 characters in there, if I really want to go that route, if I'm starting to struggle. Because when we take a look at this chart over here, the order was Cosmic, City, Global. So Global is going to be one of the last sections on there. By that point, I'll know where my ISOs are going to be standing on how I want to try to approach this last section on here. Now, what are these benefits going to give us for getting that purple ISO? Not to be upstaged by the brilliant Adam Brasher, impending arrival. Scientists frame cracked into the chemical code of the latest ISO 8 technology, level 4 and 5 purple ISO 8. The next stage in character customization continues the powerful ramp up of power and abilities, giving you the flexibility to adapt a character to a team or game mode role. Review the details below and begin planning which character possesses the above required traits are worthy of the next level of ISO 8. So to reach the next tiers of purple ISO 8, you'll need T3 level 4 and T3 level 5 ions to upgrade your characters. Here are the powerful bonuses your squad will gain when equipping this level 4 and level 5. Basically, level 4 is going to get you 10% max health, focus, armor, and resistance, which is pretty good, right? The benefits of going from up to level 5, though, I was expecting something more kind of game changing. If we kind of take a look to see what like the striker does, right? Because striker is a very powerful tool at level 3, where it's going to basically where is it at? On primary hit, if they have vulnerable, make an ISO bonus attack at 100% damage. And then on the primary hit, if they have 2 or more vulnerable, deal 20% of this character's max health to the primary target. I was expecting something like this, as opposed to just doing like flat stat upgrades on there. So that is something I'm a little kind of concerned of, I guess. Not really concerned. I was just expecting something more creative, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, if we take a look at this, Striker is going to get 30% extra damage, which is a lot, because right now, if we go back in game, Striker gets you 45% damage, 55% max health, 10% armor, focus, and resistance, right? What this is going to give you is an additional 10% max health, putting that at 65% max health. Focus, armor, resistance will go up to 20%. And then the damage is going to be another 30%, putting at 75% extra damage for striker characters. And then it does that striker shot that is pretty incredible. I was just hoping for something more creative, like I said. Now, if we end up taking a look at the fortifier, let's go ahead and find a fortifier that I have on here. We will go down to... Let me go ahead, because I do like to kind of take a look at the full breakdown. So do bear with me while I grab a fortifier on here. If we go to... Who is a fortifier? Here we go. All right, fortifier will give us 20% damage, 65% max health, 10% armor, focus, resistance. The added benefit on this one is on turn gain minor defense up for 2 turns. Clear vulnerable, all vulnerable on this character. If they have barrier, you're going to get 40% drain, 10% max barrier. So what this is going to be giving us is an additional 10% max health, focus, armor, resistance, an additional 10% max barrier. This is actually huge. And then an additional 35% damage, especially when you have drain built into it. Fortifier looks like a huge winner. So let's go ahead and do this breakdown again. So the max health is going to go to an additional 10%, which is going to put it at 75% max health on here. And then we have max barrier by 10% is going to put this at an additional 20% max barrier. Barrier has 30% that you could end up getting. This puts it at 40. You can have an additional 40% or 50% max barrier that you could end up throwing on this character. If there's any like Cosmic Crucible rules where they could say you get an additional 30%, like we had that one time, that's going to put it at like a 90% barrier or almost 100% max barrier, which is insane that if you want to think about it. The damage right here is going to be 20%. This is going to put it at 55% damage for a fortifier when you're going to have a 40% drain as long as you have barrier. Fortifier looks really good. I'm really happy with the fortifier portion on here. The next one we're going to be looking at is going to be healer. So let's go ahead and grab a healer character on here. If we go up to... Where is my healer? I think I have Daredevil Modernist as a healer as well. Let me double check. Yes, I do. All right, healer. Healer is going to get you regeneration on turn, heal for 5%. This character's max health. On primary hit, apply regeneration to the most injured ally. Heal that ally for 10%. This character's max health. Clear bleed or minor bleed from the most injured. The effect prioritizes bleed when this character uses their ultimate ability. Clear 2 vulnerable on self and all allies. This is a huge winner of an ability right there. This is going to get you plus 45% active healing, 20% damage, 65% max health, then 10, 10, 10. So this is going to now give us an additional 10% max health, focus, armor, resistance, 20% damage, 10% armor. So make them more tanky, which you can't go wrong with that. So if we go back over here, take a look at those stats. We have a 10% max health, focus, armor. Armor is going to go up by 20%. So max health would be 75%, 30% armor, 20% focus, 20% resistance. Damage is currently set to 20%. That's going to go up to 40%. So really good for a healer class on here, especially with the armor boost. I could see characters that have a high armor class already throw a healer on them to boost the armor even more. That could be something that we start looking into on here. Next up is going to be skirmisher characters, which we do have on here as well. Skirmisher I always thought was kind of an interesting one, right? Because on primary hit, apply 2 vulnerable. On primary hit, if they have vulnerable, flip 2 positive effects into bleed. You gain the extra 50% focus. Now that we're getting more of these post-Ares characters in here, getting the extra focus, we might need to start looking into that again. Because remember when Darkhold was out, their resistance was so high, you basically had to have a full skirmisher team to really get through them. These effects can also occur on assist and counterattacks. Gain war ready right here. So the initial 25% damage on assist, 20% damage, 55% max health, then 110% extra focus, and then 10% resistance. Now, if we end up going into see the bonuses that we get on here, skirmisher, 10% max health, focus, armor, resistance, 40% damage. So the damage is pretty crazy, right? So if we end up taking a look on here, max health will go up to 65%. Let's jump back over here. So max health will go up to 65%. Focus is going to go to 120%. Armor resistance will be 20. Then the damage will go up to 60% damage. So overall, this extra 30% put in at 75%, when all of these have this high damage as well, well, I need to see if this is enough damage boost that strikers are going to be getting based on what all these other classes are going to be getting. Now we have the Raider class on here. Raider is interesting. So let's go ahead and grab a Raider character like Kahori on here. All right, so on active ability crit, apply +1 vulnerable up to a maximum of 5. On active ability hit, 50% chance to bonus attack the target for 90% piercing and apply 1 vulnerable up to a maximum of 5. Raiders are going to have a 30% crit chance, 25% crit damage, 20% damage, 55 max health, 10, 10, and 10. If we end up taking a look to see what boost this is going to get, 10, 10, 10, 10, or yeah, 10, 10, 10 across the board, 5% crit chance, 15 crit damage, 20% damage. So what does that end up calculating out to? Crit chance is going to be 35%. Crit damage is going to be 40%. And then the flat damage is 40%. The extra 5% of crit chance, I don't know if that's even going to really matter, because if we take a look at Kahori, for instance, as a Raider, it's a 40% right here. That's going to put it at 45%. Maybe it will kind of matter. I haven't really noticed. If I have somebody with Raider and I do their move, it usually does end up critting more often than not. I guess 5% isn't going to hurt it. The extra crit damage, though, going up to what was it? The crit damage is currently at 25%. That's going to get an additional 15, so 40% crit damage is very nice, and the flat damage to 40%. That's going to be pretty cool as well. Overall, though, I was hoping for more creative things, like maybe boost up the crit damage from 90% to 100% for Raider, something of that sort. Kind of lean into that a little bit more. But as far as the teams goes, my plan is going to be really doing the chase, because I always enjoy these chases on here. So I'm going to go for those Conqueror characters first, which is great because a lot of those are going to be the arena team as well, with the Fantastic Four 3-piece on here. Go into Vulture, go into Superior Spider-Man, possibly. is what I'm looking at, because we don't have a lot of these support characters on here. And then from there, I might pivot and go into like Xavier, Odin. I need to see if I actually need that additional overpowered on them, and then kind of go back into it. When Odin came around, the leaderboards were ridiculous, but it wasn't out of the realm to where you can maybe spend like $20 here and there and really jump up a lot on the leaderboard. I'm really curious how the leaderboard is going to play out on this one, because in the blog, they did kind of state on here that this is going to be leaderboards where it's going to be the Superior ISO Evolution leaderboard event, where the 4 is, yeah, the Superior ISO Evolution leaderboard. The 5 is going to be in a future one, so we're going to get the 4s first, go into the 5s and everything on there. So hopefully this is going to give you a little bit of information. I know this ran a little bit long. I just wanted to kind of talk about where I've been, the 2 rework characters, my plan for the ISO, and what I'm kind of shaping this out to be. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.